When I entered university, the social contract was still in place. The social contract dictated that if I went to university, got a degree, worked really hard, I would end up with a job that would enable me to keep a roof over my head, pay for my healthcare, and pay for my food.
I don't know if you guys have heard, but the social contract is broken in the Western world. Now, what exactly is the social contract? A social contract is a theory in political and moral philosophy that posits an agreement, either explicit or implicit, between individuals and their government, or between the ruled and the rulers, defining the rights and the duties of each. So by that AI definition on Google, do you feel as though the social contract has been broken, especially amongst the younger generations who cannot afford a house, who have no access to good jobs that pay a good living wage, and the fact they're not able to afford families, especially in big cities? We're going to react to a lot of people talking about this very subject on today's video, so if you do enjoy content like this, hit the like button. Let's dive into it.
When I entered university, the social contract was still in place. The social contract dictated that if I went to university, got a degree, worked really hard, I would end up with a job that would enable me to keep a roof over my head, pay for my healthcare, and pay for my food. And perhaps I would even have a little bit left over to maybe, I don't know, do a something with. By the time I finished my degree, and every year since I finished my degree, it has become increasingly obvious that that social contract is drastically broken. Drastically broken. If I got what I was promised, I would have absolutely no issue paying back my HECS because I could actually afford it.
It's crazy that if you think about jobs, like the jobs that used to pay a lot of money and still technically pay a lot of money, but if you compare to the cost of living, it doesn't really do what it did back in like the 70s and 80s. If you were a doctor in the 80s, you could probably afford 3 properties and live very comfortably, especially if you're in a good position. But nowadays, it feels like that can barely get you a decent condo in a big city like Toronto and Vancouver. This is how bad the social contract has gotten, and people are starting to walk away from society.
You don't want to exist in this reality anymore because you can see through it. You can see through the illusion because you woke up from it, and now everything hurts. Your soul hurts because you're existing in a reality that you don't prefer to be in, but you have no choice to exist in right now. And you may be aware that there's a huge consciousness shift happening on our planet and that so many things are going to fucking change. But if you ask me what the specific date as to when that's going to happen, I don't have the specific date for you. So how are you supposed to exist in the meantime? You have to take off all of the matrix pressure from yourself, meaning the matrix puts pressure on you to make more money, to free yourself from the matrix. But as long as you're alive in this physical incarnation, you're in the matrix. Like there's nowhere else to go. And the sooner that you can realize that money, it's not about the money, and it was never about the money, and they have programmed people to have this false god who is money, thinking that money is going to bring you a sense of security and peace, because we are survival beings, right? So we just want safety. So we think that if we have so much money and we never have to worry about our bills anymore, we're going to be so much happier. You need to let go of the external noise that your ego has clinged onto to exist in this reality. All of the noise that every other single person is programmed with. That is what is keeping you stagnant and miserable, because there's so much shit that is not even close to being who you are. You're this infinite, divine, spiritual being, and you already have everything within you, but you're trying to do instead of being. And I can say this because I've had a realization yesterday as to how I'm actually fucking up the flow, because I'm such in my mental state of like, oh, I need to make things happen. What can I do? What can I do? It's not about doing, it's about being.
It's about being true, yes, but you still need money to exist in this reality, unfortunately. As the dollar starts to lose its value and purchasing power, we're going to see a lot more people kind of fall into serfdom. If you can't afford to ever buy assets or save for retirement, what really is the point? You're going to work until the day you die? Really, what actually is the point? And then even if you're putting money away for your RSPs or your 401k, you can't even touch a lot of these things until you're like 65 years old. At that point, a lot of of people are going to be gone from disease, illness, and even early death. Let's be honest, not a lot of people make it into their 80s. So 65 years old, even if you do make it to that, which a lot of people will, you're not going to have a high quality of life with whatever measly amount of money you were able to shuffle away with inflation on the rise and the devaluing of the dollar.
Someone else had the absolute misfortune of having to apply for a job, an interview for a job, while everything is going on in the States right now. Because I had one yesterday and he asked me, dead serious, what motivates you to work really hard? I already couldn't handle the interview, like the fakeness of it and corporate America or roles where you cannot be yourself at all. But it's just unbearable. Like I couldn't even bring myself to fake it yesterday. Like I was just trying, I don't even know what I was saying, but I'm like, I do not want this. I do not want something that I can feel in my stomach that he's going to absolutely squeeze the shit out of me and get every ounce of hard work he can out of me. He asked me also, like, how do you take criticism? And I was like, oh, this dude is going to absolutely torture me. This is a sadist. I know it. I've been here and everything is collapsing and we just have to pretend like everything's fine and just like play this fake interview role. Like what? I can't.
You just know we're headed towards serfdom and the social contract is broken. One of the main questions they ask you is what motivates you to work hard? To work hard. Well, let's see, to keep the job and to actually be able to afford to live. Maybe that's the reason why. But again, that would also lead us to serfdom, because if that's the only reason why you're motivated is because you want to survive, where's the prosperity anymore, right?
It really took millennials doing every single thing that we were supposed to do. We did all the right things and we still didn't get any financial reward, any societal reward for it, for us to fully realize that this is a scam. Like we know from buying into the idea that debt is bad and go to college and have a job and have a savings account and that would lead to economic prosperity, and it didn't. So now that social contract is broken and I don't really give a fuck about my debt or anyone else's debt. It's certainly not a moral failing, absolutely. Oftentimes it's a necessity. And zooming out, all of these things are policy choices. It is a policy choice to have unaffordable housing. It is a policy choice to continue to raise the tuition of public college. It's a policy choice to not have universal health care. It's a policy choice to make living in America absolutely financially crippling. And that is the real moral debt. Whether we have new shoes or nicer cars is like completely irrelevant because we did not break this social contract first.
That is a really, really good point, and she is very insightful. The young generation did not break the social contract. It was the ones before. It was the policymakers. It was the older generations who were greedy and wanted a bigger retirement fund, a bigger slush fund for them to retire into. And then the money printing, it just keeps going and going. The cost of tuition is insane as well. Here in Canada, not just the States, here in Canada, tuition fees are just absolutely ridiculous. And what does it get you? Worse paying jobs than in the past. That's where we're at right now in 2025 when you have a social contract that is broken. Leave your thoughts about today's video subject down below in the comment section, and also, do you agree or disagree that the social contract is broken in today's day and age? Let me know your thoughts, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.